Thank you for joining us at Box Office. Let's check out some of the movies due for release. Rude plays Ned, a stoner who has frizzled his neurons to the point that he has lost any ability to detect or dish out BS. The poster child for what it means to be ingenious, Ned is a trusting, playful, adorable stray puppy who isn't quite housebroken. So you know what hits a fan when his three sisters serially take him in after his release from jail. He's nothing but Suri's. It's no wonder that his most enduring relationship is with his dog, Willie Nelson. Thanks to Ruth's everyman persona and the genial obliviousness he brings to Ned, you can't help but feel empathy. As with a suspense film where the audience knows what's going to happen but the characters are still in the dark, you want to yell out to warn Ned before he screws up again. His perfect comic timing and the made-to-order script make sure you get the most laughs from the predicament. Luckily, there's more to him than just bad luck. He's also an enduring white angel on the shoulders of his sisters, helping them fight their devils as he becomes an unwitting catalyst for change.
Think of the time it'll save when you're making spaghetti sauce.
I love my brother, but yeah, he doesn't live in the adult world.
Check it out.
Tell me about Uncle Ned.
He just got out of jail.
In Japan for protesting about whales.
I thought you said he sold drugs to a policeman. Oh.
I'm back living with my mom. Man, I screwed it up with my sisters.
Damn Ned! Our idiot brother just ruined my life. What's wrong with you?
You know, I try and do good, but it doesn't always work out.
Next up, we have Limelight, a film about Peter Gatien, the owner of legendary New York nightclubs like Limelight, The Tunnel, and The Palladium. The film documents his rise and fall from the 1980s to the 1990s. I was hoping to see the film that was detailed the clubs and their owner. Instead, I got a film that seemed to be a mix of footage from inside the clubs, period local news stories, and some interviews. Little of it was much more detailed than the brief news stories that punctuate and make up most of the film. It's a sort of a thing that you'd see on the History Channel in a segment on the 1980s but stretched to 90 minutes.
A cool, watchful eye looks over it all. It is the eye of Peter Gatien, the Lord of Late Night.
Limelight was very important to Peter because it was his cash cow.
It was a gold mine. He was pulling in 50,000 customers on a weekend.
There was a magical quality associated to everything he did.
These little parties just kept on getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Did we own the city's nightlife? We owned it.
DEA started to get involved in ecstasy investigations.
Crime was really out of control.
Giuliani decided to make a change.
That's when the crackdown started.
100, 200 feds. The motto was, get Gatien at all costs.
I never saw that type of scorched earth mentality.
Bringing him down could serve as a lesson to other club owners to behave.
What better person to choose to make an example of than the one who's on the top?
This is the stuff that's going to take you there.
They were zombies, basically. We were really obnoxious.
You were the star, or you were the entertainment.
An open-air drug market.
It was like the Ecstasy Bandits. It could have been a movie.
Everybody was high.
They positively identified the body.
They turned out in massive numbers, thousands of people.
The gathering happened.
It wasn't part of the real world.
There were very few rules.
It was degeneracy without consequences.
Everyone was having a good time.
Classical music is an estimable topic that I feel disinclined to write about. This diffidence has little to do with any shortage of enthusiasm or background knowledge. You will find Saint-Saëns, Telemann, Cage, and Mozart all in my music collection, often played in rhythmic counterpart to activities both sinful and innocently quotidian. It may reflect a quiet desire to keep this joyful terrain unsullied by scabrous assaults of the overly examined. It may have something to do with certain upper-class exigencies which I identify as ridiculous. The requirement to dress up and spend a lot of money just to hear a thunderous orchestra play something you love, the paucity of robust alcoholic beverages, the prohibition on spontaneous enthusiasm within dull and often overpraised buildings designed almost exclusively for fuddy-duddies, and the unshakable vibe of being sized up by condescending assholes pegging you as some bumpkin who inexplicably sneezed past the velvet rope. Whenever I have the pleasure of attending a swank cultural affair for something I am genuinely excited about, there remains a small part of me that wonders if I'll suffer a fate not unlike the poor couple losing the necklace in the Guy de Maupassant story.
Si nous avions été des garçons, vous seriez votre frère et je serais le mien. Nous régnerions toutes les deux, vous sur la création et moi sur les hommes.
Thank you for being with us here at Box Office. We'll be back soon with a few more. Bye for now.